Hello everyone, this is Chuck Dread from Kingdom 1189 Viperus, giving a bit of a guide on how I do the damned escort event that no one likes. Okay, so here goes. Here's my lovely city. Notice the dodgy city skin. First of all, grab war friends if you can. You know, why not? Easy. Attack enhancement, same as usual. This is all about killing them quick, and if you want to use troop capacity, fill your boots. Alright, other real key things that you'll notice I haven't bothered to do here. Get a rune. Again, attack the best, if not, go for march speed. Anything to help you get to things and kill them quicker. Okay, top of that, justice. Why not? By all means, general or king, but justice for me. And that's what I used on my farm, and I did this successfully. Okay, so other than that, back to the city. What you really need to look at is, where to do this. So I've left myself where I was, but actually, why not by a river? Why not by a mountain? Why not make it that a little bit easier? And actually, if things spawn on the other side, you've got a long time to choose what to kill and when. Okay, and then last but not least, why not take a look at what you've got to use? Yeah, change your commanders. Look at the ones you're going to use, give them the right abilities. Yeah, give it attack, give it defense, give it health. Okay, health, defense, fire, it's important, but obviously still useful. Okay, so cavalry all the way. You'll notice I'm using quite a few cavalry commanders, even if they're not expertise. Khan is 5511. You will see William used as well, 5511, just for the speed. I do use Ramses and YSG because they are my core. I'm an archer, commander primarily. You see what Artemisia, etc. But actually I won't use this. Okay, so 5 marches obviously, okay, more the merrier. And I will use epic commanders just because they're the best I've got for cavalry. Okay, it's not my strong point. Okay, so you will notice that I'll go for anyone with AoE as well, because actually there'll be plenty of times where I will, by design, look to hit more than one troop at once. Okay, and you'll also notice that I rather spectacularly select archers from a couple of these marches, so I will tidy that up. Yeah, not the first time that I've made a wonderful cock-up like that, but these things happen. Okay, so we'll tidy that up, and I'll jump back when I've decided to get the right troops. One thing I would say, and it's because I'm a bit simple, I do always check, so I have a quick look through, and lo and behold, there's Ethelfred with archers, and Belisarius with archers as well. Okay, so we'll tidy that. One more thing, while I was going through and thinking about it, obviously I've mentioned my city hull. Okay, I'm using an archer city skin, archer health, about the least useful thing you can possibly use for this. Okay, use a cavalry attack if you can, and it is the hidden lotus, if I can find it amongst the mess of my city skins. Okay, so it's cavalry attack, archer defense, because who cares about archer defense when you're not using many. Okay, so get that sorted. Make sure you're not being completely useless and you're using random troops, so that'll be tidied up in a second. But I noticed Belisarius as well, and the only reason I noticed is because I should not be able to put out 4 full marches. You've seen my troops; I've got about 820,000.
As the daughter of a king, I will. As the daughter of a king,
so
I will not
once
give way
you get
to
around to
such painful
tidying all that up,
consequences.
quick double check what I've got there. Notice Belisarius and sort that out nice and quickly. Okay, so now we're good to go. Obviously get your troops in position, you've got to make a random guess which way it's going to go. And this is just to show that I was lucky enough to come first and come 9th with my farm. Did wait on my farm because I didn't want to take the sculptures off mains, and obviously top 10 get legendary sculptures, but only get them 24 hours. And there's my farm, 34 mil. It can still be done, okay? Yes, I did use rune, yes I did use justice on that
nightmares incarnate.
It's not great. So, let's get going, okay? Nice straightforward. Obviously, you've got to do the first medium and hard, but then you get on to the 25 stars. Okay then, so first thing to notice is I spectacularly chose the wrong way. I'm having a quick look about where I need to go to, but I'm going to get all 5 marches in a bit of a nice star pattern around it, because you can not risk the fact that you will get some spawn quite close on one side. Okay, you will notice throughout this one it is not perfect. Okay, I do use a couple of marches rather riskily at the last second to hit greens, but the whole priority around this, and you'll see how I do it throughout, I stay ahead of the escort, the caravan, as much as possible, because you've got to remember that caravan very rarely stops moving. So if you get something spawn ahead of it and it's walking towards them, they're walking towards it, they close down pretty quick. So you need to have your higher DPS at the front, and I will normally have my YSG, Ramesses YSG, by the caravan. Okay, because actually they're a bit slower, but they can AoE. So if anything needs that last little love tap before they hit the caravan, that's what I should do. So at this spawn, yeah, quickly hit things nearby, but actually it's the greens that need to be targeted. Okay, you'll notice here that Ethelflaed is hitting a grey, but actually she can move straight onto the green because that grey will stay with her. Okay, you'll notice there's a grey coming from the north, and notice there's two near the caravan, but I can use one march, Minamoto to hit all three. Okay, they're very close to the caravan, but they will not touch the caravan now because they're playing with Minamoto. Okay, so I can clearly concentrate on the green, get that killed off, and then move slowly through. Okay, key tip for me here is always keep at least 1 or 2 marches out the fighting in this last stage, because you don't know when the next ones will spawn. I've found in the past that it can be just that little bit too random for my liking, so if you don't have marches in position, you get a bit of a shock. Okay, again, spread out, keep ahead of it. Best thing to do, and I don't really do it one through well here, is actually keep one of your marches selected. Okay, so next spawns, again, hit things close, again, look at the ones that are off to the sides, and target the greens. Okay, it appears I want to hit a stone deposit there for fun. What I have got there is quite a few greys near each other, okay, and that means I can use Ethelflaed to hit all of them. So I've currently got 2 hitting Ethelflaed, 2 marches on the green as quick as I can. Okay, you notice Ramesses off on his own with the green quite a bit of distance, and actually I can then start to move myself around. Okay, so you want as many greys as possible hitting 1 march, because they're not moving then, and you will kill them. Okay, if you're using tier 5, this is very, very easy. Tier 4, a bit messy, but still very doable. Okay, so again, I'm not getting those 2 marches involved, they're staying away, they're moving up ahead of the caravan. Okay, you'll notice on this that actually it's quite nice, it's hugging the mountain. That means they're only going to come from 3 directions. So when I gave advice earlier about choose where to do it, a river or mountains can be nice. Okay, they can give you them a bit easier. Instead of having to cover 360 degrees around the caravan, you only have to cover 270 or 180. Okay, so make the most of what you've got. One thing that a lot of people get a bit wound up about, and I don't disagree, is actually getting cities in the way. Because sometimes your marches will take the most random routes to get to troops, to get to the enemy. They'll go round a city, and unfortunately, sometimes the enemy march decides to go the other way, and you end up running around a city. So there is something to be said for porting to Zone 1, porting away from everyone, and making that a little bit easier. But all I'm doing here is spreading out a little bit. Again, I'm more in front of the caravan than I'm behind. What I need to be careful of is that actually the caravan will stop soon, and so obviously I need to be a bit more spread out around it.
As the daughter of a king,
Okay, nice little emoji. Okay, the orange is exactly the same as the grey. It will stop when it's touched. So you'll notice I'm completely ignoring it at the moment. No need to take the damage, no need to take the hit, because actually it's the greens that are going to cause issues. You'll see the marches coming behind that I get a bit fearful of. So actually Ramesses can drop to them, and as long as I can move in between those 2 greys, they won't move. And I'm actually going to drop Ethelflaed to go and help, because I've got enough up there with AoE to take down the greens. Okay, green's priority, orange, like I said, ignore it. As long as it's being hit, it's not moving anywhere. So at this stage, you can see the red line coming in from the bottom. Okay, it's another grey. I just completely ignore it. It's going to walk straight past my Ramesses. I'll make sure I give a bit of a love tap to get its attention. And that's all we need to do for the greens. And sorry, the greys, remember, you touch them, they stay with you until they die, until you move away. So actually, nice and easy. Greens are the priority, always will be. Okay, so you notice it's going to keep following around the mountain, really nice. Well worth having a quick look at where that yellow line's going. So it's going right round next to Kuta's base. Okay, so I've got to be a bit careful, because if I get trapped on one side of that and enemies on the other, it can take a bit of time to get around it. So I'm going to go around it and surround that city a little bit myself to make sure I've got all sides covered. Nice and simple. Okay, a bit of tidying up, because no one likes to have too many males showing. And then really it's a bit of a waiting game. Okay, the next one is the big one. Okay, the final spawn that has the final boss in it, the orange one, is not that difficult. Okay, not that much spawns. It's this next one where you get lots of greens and you have to deal with them effectively and efficiently. So greys first, a couple of greens off to the back. Again, I can look at prioritising them. Okay, those greys at the front I probably could have taken with 1 march, be it Belisarius or Cao. But actually, if I kill them off, I can free up those 2 marches. Keep ahead of the march, ahead of the caravan, like I say. Always want to keep ahead of them. Okay. So you can see them going down quite quickly. Okay, there's a few greens, but I got lucky. Because of the mountains, one spawned a long way back. I mean a long way back. Plenty of time. But now I've got to be careful, because what if more spawn in front? So I will keep that march free. Okay, and in fact I'll free up a couple, because I'm pretty comfortable with 2 or 3 tier 5 marches. Those greens will go down quick. And what you'll notice is they are behind the caravan. The caravan's moving away from them. It's giving me more and more time to deal with them. Okay, that's why we keep ahead of it. Okay, so obviously I was wrong. It's the next one that's going to be the big one. But let's just move into position and let's get ready. Okay, lots of barbarians around. This is another thing that's a bit of a nuisance doing it in Zone 3 and doing it in KVK, LK, is that actually you hit barbarians with AoE, you then have barbarians hurting you, and actually it can be difficult sometimes to target the mobs around the barbarians. So lower level the better, or just kill off the barbarians first if you want to be really thorough. I've seen at least one team on our kingdom have people help them do it by keeping the barbarians out of the way. Not the worst idea in the world. Okay, the good old waiting game. Caravan will have a bit of a trek now. It is the slowest thing known to man, but we keep up with it. Okay. And the nice thing about having cavalry is that actually you can move around, be mobile, and make the most of where the enemies are going to spawn. Okay, so they spawn really obvious straight away. They nearly all spawn behind it. But actually, use those red lines to spot where things are coming from. Okay, there's one on the right, green one, haven't really looked at, but I've got a spare Belisarius march. In fact, I'll drop Cow because I've got Ethelfred and Ramesses with AoE to take out those greens and the greys around them. Okay, you'll notice all the greys have been touched. So actually, even though they look like they're moving towards the caravan, they're not. They're attached to Ethelfred, they're attached to Ramesses. Okay, Cow and Burley, not my two strongest, but they're enough to take down that green. Okay, and then move on. And again, go after the greens, go after the greens. Okay, you'll notice here that William, being a bit of a nuisance, has hit that barbarian. And in fact, I think Ramesses did as well. So, not ideal. Means I'm now hitting things I don't need to. It's not a big problem. Okay, I've kept one march free. I think that's Cow Khan up ahead. Nice and quick, able to deal with it. Because actually I know now that the next march, the next set that appear, won't be that difficult. Okay, I actually let myself kill those barbarians. Didn't really need to, wasn't much of a worry. Could have walked away, but let's get rid of them while we're there. So again, back into that star-ish formation, spread out around it. We know what's going to spawn now. It's going to be an orange, it's going to be a couple of greens, it's going to be lots of greys. So again, what we do is prioritise the greens and then just keep the others entertained. Okay, tap the orange, tap the greys, and they'll stick with us. Okay, it's rinse and repeat. Once you get the first bit, it's not too difficult. Okay, caravan's a bit premature, never good. We know where it's going to. It's going to that village. So let's just keep up with it. Okay, so they've spawned. Okay, again, you know, that for me was quite a lucky spawn. Seemed to have spawned quite a way away. You'll see there's greys next to greens. You'll see the greys next to the orange. So what I'll do is Cow will give a bit of a tap to these greys. Keep them on him. They will die just from hitting him from counter attack damage. And actually what it means is that I can concentrate on the other things. So you'll see there is a grey getting a bit near. You'll see that Ramesses will do some lovely AoE with YSG on that one. And actually Belly's a bit free. And all that's happening on the top left is that my Ethelfred is hitting the orange, but we'll just tap that grey to keep its attention. Okay, really straightforward. Freeing up marches now. Well, I've killed the greens, killed the greys, and then that orange is stood there. Okay, the oranges can do quite a bit of damage to you, especially if you've only got tier 4. On my farm, I did find out that one march couldn't take the orange on its own. You know, my farm isn't the strongest. So actually what I do is gang up as much as possible. Okay, no point at all in Ramesses doing what he's doing now, walking around, but actually I don't need him. This is the last thing to spawn, the last thing to be killed. There are no more troops spawning, so it's victory. Okay. It's as easy as that. It's not the most difficult run I've had. Okay, nothing spawned too near. I know people moan about it, but generally if you can prepare yourself well enough, if you've got the right troops, you won't have an issue. Okay, so, you know, that's all it is. I actually really enjoy it. It's a proper PvE element of the game, and actually it just gives that little bit of ability of micromanagement. Okay, but there is nothing there, it's rocket science. Most people that fail is because they're not planning properly or they're getting flustered. Absolutely no need. Okay, so all I'll do now is a quick recap of troops. Okay, because actually you should have lots of troops left. Okay, I wasn't using a rune, I wasn't using city skin, I wasn't using title. but I can still have on a lot of my marches nearly 200,000 left. Okay, you see some of them taking a bit of a hit, but it's not the end of the world. And that's it. Okay, any questions, send them through, happy to help. But really, all that is a escort of a caravan. Keep in front of it, use terrain, always go for the greens, and do not be afraid to stack as many greys as possible on each of your marches. Okay, and it is a great reward. Okay, last thing for me, remember the first person that finishes it, no matter when that is, gets the top reward. Okay, so I did it at reset to make sure I got top reward. That happened. Okay, I then held off on my farm until 18 hours later, just to give people a chance. But it's a good event, hopefully many more like it. I'd love to see a team-based one. I don't mean up to the scale of Silk Road. Maybe 3 or 5 people would be really fun. Okay, look after yourselves, have fun.